Hey guys, so we have Uranus officially moving retrograde today in the sign of Taurus. This is beginning a 5-month retrograde period for Uranus. This is likely to be a period of some pretty dynamic shifts and changes happening internally within us and maybe some profound awakenings that we're coming to. It's also beginning an 8-month period of change as well, because it will take 8 months for Uranus to come back to the position at which he is retrograding now. So this next 5 months, this next 8 months is likely to be a period of time where we are sort of going on a personal, very individualized healing journey in one way or another. There is lots of healing influence that is wrapped up in this aspect, and we are likely to really be recreating ourselves in a lot of ways in alignment with our highest potential and sort of breaking through some of the molds or some of the limitations of our past self over this period of time in this energy. This is also happening. Uranus is also retrograding today in an exact, basically, square to Venus, who is ruling the sign of Taurus, where Uranus is right now. Also, the moon is right there in conjunction as well, and Uranus is, of course, in a conjunction to the north node and an opposition to the south node. So this has a lot to do with going through some really profound awakenings in terms of what we really need to feed our heart and our soul in alignment with what can help us to unleash essentially our own personal creative self-expression and really like tap into, tap into and cultivate some of the resources, talents, potential, and gifts that we hold inside of us. This should be quite a profound period of time that we are heading into right now that should be really life-changing in a lot of ways for a lot of us and really realign the trajectory that we are moving forward along going through our lives at this point in time. So we have a lot of energy to talk about today, you guys. Let's get into the chart and see how this is breaking down, how it may be playing out over this next period of time, and also in the energy today. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is Wednesday, August 25th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. And as usual, if you guys stick with me until the end of the report, we are also going to be talking about some tarot cards that came out in conjunction with the astrology message today to tap into the energy field from more than one modality and just sort of get like a more well-rounded, holistic viewpoint of what is playing out for us in the vibratory field today. So anyways, that being said, we've got lots of astrology to talk about today, you guys. Let us start there with the astrology. Uranus officially moving backwards in the sky today. Uranus stationed retrograde. I talked about that in my video for yesterday, but today we are talking about Uranus officially moving backwards, and this is a retrograde process, as I said in my intro, that is going to be 5 months long. 5 is a number associated with dynamic change. Uranus is also a planet associated with dynamic change. This is a retrograde process. This is an internalized energy. This is the Uranus energy, this cosmic rectification, this great rectifier energy being turned inwards, this awakening energy, this liberation energy being turned inwards to like awaken us on like a very conscious level and free our mind in ways that allow us to free ourselves tangibly, physically from things in this actual reality that are out of alignment with our authentic truth. Uranus is the planet ruling authenticity and freedom and potential and the future and a lot of other things too. But in the context of what is playing out now, we are likely to be going through a period of some very profound awakening about our own selves that is helping us to rediscover our own authentic personal truth and our potential that we hold inside of us, which is exactly what we're needing at this point in time as well. And, you know, considering this is happening in the sign of Taurus, it brings up themes of us discovering our own value, our own talent, our own potential, like I said, our own gifts, our own internal resources, and how we can use those, how we can cultivate them, how we can develop them and put them into some type of productive use in our lives to create some type of like stable foundation that can lead to our material comfort, material abundance in some type of way. Taurus, the sign of things growing from the earth, the sign of things growing from within, and Uranus, the great awakener, helping us to rediscover and reawaken to these latent seeds within us and what we need to do to water them at this point in time. And remember, Uranus is also in a conjunction to the north node in Taurus. So you guys, it's like this is our destiny. Like this is what needs to be done. This is destiny activating energy, like I talk about, like I say all the time. And because of the nature of Uranus, and because Uranus is the galactic fixer and, you know, puts things back on track, puts things right, and also is the great liberator, Uranus is also the cosmic wrecking ball. Like, when we are out of alignment with our authenticity, when we are off track in terms of what we are supposed to be doing, or in terms of recognizing those gifts and that talent that we hold within us and like disregarding it or abandoning ourselves in any type of a way, or, you know, turning our back on our actual purpose, Uranus will come through and just take things and shake things up and like end things and shift things and move things in a way that can be very, very chaotic and very, very uncomfortable. But it is because it is trying to force us into a situation where we essentially have no choice other than to rediscover and reawaken to that potential, or to those, like I said, the latent seeds that may be existing within us. And that is the process that we are about to be undergoing over this next 5 months. And it has a lot to do, actually, I feel, with what began to start around the end of July and the 1st of August of this year, when we had Mars and Uranus and the North Node coming into exact conjunction in the sign of Taurus. Mars fires us up about things. Mars gives us courage and motivation and passion and willpower. And with Uranus there, doing the job that I just described, trying to help us awaken to the authentic resources and potential and value and like talent and all of that we hold within us in the sign of Taurus, the North Node there as well. This is, again, the destiny. This is the destiny activating in like energy, the energy that is awakening us to the truth of our purpose, essentially, with Mars there as well. Action, courage, willpower, motivation, like inspiration, drive, passion. There may have been something that happened in one way or another that was like trying to have us take some type of action towards awakening to some type of truth about the actual trajectory that we need to be heading into. Now, after this transit has passed, you guys, this energy may have dissipated and we may have not followed through, or things may have seemed to fall apart, or things may have seemed to just like veer off in a totally left turn and like go in a whole different direction than what we were originally anticipating. But that's because this process is not finished. This is going to be a process that is carrying through actually through April of 2023. And things that began to start to happen around the end of August, or the end of July, the beginning of August, once we get to next April, they're going to come back around in some type of like really solidified way that makes a lot of sense and really puts things into perspective in terms of what has happened now. But until then, you guys, we are essentially all being called towards our own hero's journey. We are on a healing journey over this next period of time with Uranus retrograde, and not only Uranus retrograde, even after Uranus stations direct. As I said in my intro, we're headed towards a 5-month period of retrograde, but it's actually an 8-month period, because that's how long it's going to take after Uranus goes direct to get out of the shadow of his retrograde and come back to the point in the sky where he originally retrograded, which was where 19 degrees of Taurus, the degree where the Mars-Uranus North Node conjunction happened. So we are looking at a 5-month period of this internalized shift and awakening that really like brings us back into alignment with the truth of our value, the truth of our potential, the truth of our resources, the self-discovery period, essentially, that like turns on our light bulb and like really just awakens us to our purpose and our authentic truth. And then simultaneously, you know, once we've got that kind of figured out, there's this additional 3 months as part of this whole process, or maybe it's just all happening, you know, at like in one, I don't know what you would say, you know, the 5 months and the 8 months sort of blending together into just like one period of time. But there is, you know, the rest of this time, this 8-month period really is about the healing that is required in alignment with that self-discovery, that self-awareness, that personal awakening, to bring us to a point where we are self-empowered enough to really activate that which we've discovered and really start moving in that direction, in that new trajectory. So things that have started happening recently are going to come back around in a much more like mature, healed, and like solidified, ready to start something radically new and different type of way. So that being said, I mean, and also it's interesting because Uranus himself for this retrograde is at 19 degrees of Taurus. From a numerological perspective, this is a 10, right? 9 and 1, we put these numbers together. This is a 10. 10s are about completion on one hand, manifestation, something coming to its like full like culmination point, a completion, and also simultaneously new beginnings, because we're talking about 10. This is a 10. This is a, the full manifestation energy of something, but it simultaneously can also be broken down into a 1, which is about new beginnings. So we're talking about also a period of endings and beginnings. And even like in the tarot, this 8-month period while we're waiting for Uranus to retrograde and then come back to the origin point where he originally retrograde reminds me of the card of the 8 of Cups, which this 8-month period, this 8 of Cups, this is in the tarot, a lot of times is associated with a legitimate like 8-month journey of healing where we are sort of walking away. It's like a solitary healing journey where we're sort of like going on our own path, walking away from all of our past viewpoints and perceptions and attachments and things that have held us back and self-limiting beliefs and all of that, and really going off in our own direction to really get in touch with ourselves and what we want and what will truly bring us purpose and wish fulfillment in life. After the 8 of Cups comes the 9 of Cups in the tarot, which is the wish fulfillment card. So it's this solitary journey back to our authentic truth essentially, and our purpose, and like what our soul really yearns for in terms of what brings us that true state of fulfillment in the context of like our own soul's personal needs and desires in this lifetime. So I feel like, the numerology, and even Uranus is going to be going direct on January 22nd. And, it will be 2023 by that period of time. So we will be out of this magical synchronicity, divine alignment, like soulmate 222 year. However, we're still getting a throwback reference because Uranus will be going direct on January 22nd, which will be a 2-2 day, of course. And I feel like it's referencing what began starting in this 222 year. Again, like us coming to a point where we are shifting our vibration in a way to again start magnetizing, attracting, and bringing in these soul fulfilling divine union connections, partners, relationships, situations, experiences, circumstances that again like mirror our soul's true purpose and really fill us up on that level. That's what this 222 year is about. It's not necessarily about bringing these relationships and commitments in now, but it's about helping us to shift our vibration in a way that will begin to start a process of us attracting those as a result of us harmonizing with the energy within us and, our authentic truth. It's all woven together. The numerology is playing right into the astrology messages. And that's why I really like to look at things from more than one modality, because, if we can validate things across the board, if the astrology and the numerology and the tarot, and then like also like multiple different forms of astrology, like if they're all saying the same thing, then we have a pretty good idea of, energetically what is playing out and how we can expect generally things to go for us. So that being said, I feel like we're entering a period of time right now that is really going to show us our own truth and empower us and give us like the skills also that we need to. And even like if we think about even like the 8 of Pentacles, this is an earth sign that we're talking about. Taurus is going, Virgo, sorry guys, too many signs, too many planets running through my head. Uranus is going retrograde in an earth sign, so for 8 months, right? Well, until we get back to this point. So this is 8 of Pentacles energy as well, 8 of Coins energy, 8 of Earth energy, which is all about self-work and self-mastery. So there's another, energetic, comparison dimension of things that we can pull out and say like this is giving us some indications as well. And if we are going to do that in terms of the retrograde period, this is also talking about the 5-month retrograde period. This is also be talking about the 5 of Pentacles or the 5 of Coins. This is about, the 5 of Coins is about feeling shut out from something. It's about not recognizing the truth of what we have going on inside of us. It's like not recognizing like our self-worth and the value and the potential and what we can create with that, and feeling like in a state of victimhood and stuff like that. But it's also funny because that is exactly the type of attitude and energy that this period is working to alleviate, is working to help us to transcend and to like grow through and come out of as we are going on this healing journey and this period of dynamic internal awakening and self-discovery. So we are breaking through our attachments to any state of victimhood or any state of lack that we've held inside of us that maybe has prevented us from recognizing the talent, gifts, potential that we hold inside of us, and definitely coming into our activating our destiny and rising into our higher potential, like I always talk about, like I always say. But this period of time, like Uranus in Taurus in the square also, like it's not just the retrograde process that is happening right now. It's also interesting how the other planetary transits are playing out on the side of this. First of all, Venus ruling the sign of Taurus, where Uranus is going retrograde, right, is going to be in a conjunction actually with the moon in Leo as well, and basically in an exact square to both the North Node and Uranus for Uranus's stationing and Uranus going retrograde also. Venus, again, this is ruling the position of Uranus in the square with the moon. This is this dynamic change going on to liberate and feed our heart and soul. Venus and the moon, our heart and our soul in the sign of Leo, what they need to feel alive, what they need to thrive, what they need to feel like passionate and inspired and creative, and really tap into and spark that personal creative self-expression that is such a crucial part of this process that we are going through generally right now, being indicated by Uranus in the North Node in the sign of Taurus, all about tapping, cultivating, and doing something with the potential that we hold within us. It's like this Venus moon square is really trying to activate that as well, but it's a square. So it could be bringing up some tension. It could be bringing up some conflict. Now, the Venus and square to other planets is generally a much better time than a lot of the more harsher or more difficult planets forming squares. So this is not like, this is a, if we're going to have a planet in square to Uranus for Uranus's retrograde, like we probably want it to be Venus, but ruling the sign where Uranus is and with the moon as well. And remember, the North and the South Node are also in a conjunction and in opposition to Uranus. This is detaching from toxic emotional states that have been keeping us out of the truth of our own light, the truth of what we need, again, to liberate our heart and soul, to get in alignment with this creative process of self-discovery that we are going on right now. And it's also Venus, value, Leo, the creative life force, awakening to the value and potential, and it's trying to awaken this creative life force energy within us to assist us in the process of like motoring our potential. It's like we are on one hand being a universe is helping us to awaken to the truth of our potential, and then on the other hand it's like this internal like irritation or something, this like creative energy that is coming to us as well, that is trying to like act as a catalyst to help us like develop that energy. It's like we are discovering that we have this potential within us, that we have these gifts, that we have these abilities, and then simultaneously it's like we are also being sort of like hit with the creative inspiration, the creative drive to like have ideas about how to actually use these things and make them work in a way that can create something, again, like physical, tangible, material, like money, abundance, comfort, security in some type of a way in our lives, to honestly, like, it's part of a bigger plan as well. Like, we are in a transition of ages right now, you guys. Like, I'm talking about this energy as it's hitting on a microcosm level, but it's also going to be hitting on a macrocosm level in terms of economies and geopolitical situations and governments and just the false matrix of reality that we've been, immersed in for so long, generally crumbling, falling down. And that in and of itself is going to create a lot of like really big shifts going on that may upset and the balance of things in our status quo and shake things up. And it's like universe is trying to prepare us for this period of time, because we may find ourselves in situations where we feel like we need to be more like self-reliant perhaps than we had in the past. And this is this period of time about like gaining this information and developing these skills and tapping these resources and figuring out how we can become more self-reliant and more self-sustaining and more personally resourceful generally going through this period of time, as things may start to change and we may not be able to rely on the external power sources as much as we had in the past. And of course, again, this is part of this process. This is part of the shift into the age of Aquarius, the shift from passive consumption to active creation, the shift from schooling together under a hierarchy to, each of us becoming the master of our own destiny and working together to serve the greater good, essentially based on these shifts that are going on within us and our return to our authenticity and activating our destiny, activating our potential, going through this conscious awakening, rising into our higher selves. It's all wrapped up together in this shift of the ages, like tapestry that we are weaving together right now. And that's just what we got going on, you guys. And that is the role that the astrology is playing in what we have going on. And Venus, in this happening in Venus's sign, in square to Venus and the moon exactly. This could also be bringing impulsivity in relationships and in finances, conflicts and fights as well over our desire for freedom, to play, to have fun, breaking out of what's not truly in alignment with our heart. And also this is really going to be sort of dissolving any type of like false pretenses or lack of authenticity are going to be like really insufferable. I feel like at this period of time, everybody's going to be getting real with themselves. And it's not just Uranus, you guys. We have all the outer planets, all of the outer planets are retrograde right now, and we're about to have Mercury going retrograde soon as well. This next period of time, this autumn, this fall period heading into winter is very, very much about some deeply internalized shifts, transformations, reevaluations, restructuring, awakening, just metamorphosis, alchemization, transmutation, internalized level, healing process going on, and it is really being emphasized by this Uranus energy right now, as this is a major part of the energetic and vibrational shift, as I was saying, that is ushering us into and simultaneously helping us to create the age of Aquarius. We want to be very careful spending money today in this energy over this period of time too, because it can make us just more impulsive with spending when we have this happening in the sign of Taurus as well. Financial, material, comfort, resources, partnerships, a wrecking ball maybe sort of coming through to, again, like our personal status quo as we go through this period of time. And it's just important that we Taurus is also a sign of like simplifying things and like getting back to basics. Like that's on one level what we're really doing. We're getting back to basics. We're cutting out the clutter. We're cutting out the frivolousness. Like we are aligning with what it is that we truly value, what it is that we truly prioritize, what is truly valuable, to us in terms of our value systems and in terms of like our relationships and our partnerships and in terms of the way that we are using our energy and what we are growing and what we are building and what we are creating. It's like we don't want to waste our time. We don't want to waste our energy anymore. It's like we are just gaining a stronger priority and a stronger value for the things that we are growing and creating in our lives, because they're just becoming much more important to us at this point in time, because they're things that are actually deeply in alignment with us. And that is what we are moving towards. And that is simultaneously like why a lot of things are falling away that are not supportive of that. But also in this 222 year, that is what this energy is doing. And it's trying to do this for us so that we can attract and bring in that which is very supportive of this process that we're going in. And that, again, matches and fulfills us on that soul level. This is also this aspect, what we have going on today wants us to free ourselves to start creating, the sign of Leo, and producing. Taurus, again, like I was saying, like over this period of time, we are likely to get a lot of ideas, creative ideas about how we can actually utilize our gifts and make money, or to like actually be able to like create some type of, again, like security or stability or build something for ourselves with them in some type of a way. It's also, facilitated in this energy, unlocking our creative and personal passion for sure, developing our talents and potential, like I said, and activating destiny. This is destiny activating energy based on what's truly in our heart and soul. However, it's creating this conflict, and it's creating this conflict because it wants to free Uranus, square, Venus, moon. We're going to be feeling a very intense and powerful urge, drive, most likely to free ourselves, to liberate ourselves, to break away from anything that is keeping us out of what our heart and soul truly want and desire, just because of the nature of the planets. Like what makes us feel good, what is fun to us, what makes us feel alive, what makes us feel that we can like play and reunite and with our inner child. Like inner child healing is very, very wrapped up in this as well. And, you know, not only because Venus ruling Taurus, where Uranus is going retrograde, and the moon both in the sign of Leo, forming the square for the retrograde motion day moment, but they are also, and Leo rules children. Leo is a sign that rules children and the inner child, but they're also in basically a very, very close, almost exact trine to Chiron, which also rules the inner child and also rules, it rules inner child healing, and it also rules the hero's journey, which is synonymous with this Eight of Cups energy, with this 8-month healing process, with this healing journey. And this is also very important, and it's like an imperative part of our transition into the age of Aquarius on a collective level, because we all need to go through this hero's journey. This is where we transmute our states of victimhood into states of self-mastery. Essentially, we discover our initial wounding, our subconscious programming, and the patterns that we keep reliving as a result of that are trying to bring us into awareness of it. It brings up these black moon issues and helps us to gain awareness and break through and learn. And because of this wisdom that we are gaining about the experiences that we've been through and how to heal and overcome them, it brings us to the state of self-mastery, where we can begin unlocking our potential, activating our destiny, and working in a more collaborative, co-creative way with God and universe as we have achieved a level of self-mastery, Eight of Pentacles as well, and greater understanding over the way that our own energy body imprints and imprints and helps to create our experiences in this reality. We are going from a state of utter victimhood with the Chiron archetype, where we feel like we have no power at all and we are at the whim of life and experience and those around us, to a state of complete self-mastery, where we feel as though we are the captain of our own ship and we are co-creating our life with God and universe in a very conscious way. This is a process of coming from a state of unconscious experience of life to a state of very conscious creation and awareness in life, but it's as a result of this process of self-healing. And that's another thing with the Chiron archetype. No one is doing it for us. In order to go on the hero's journey and complete it and come out on the other side, this is an individualized process. Again, this is the Eight of Cups. This is us walking away, going down our own path, the solitary journey. And, one facet of the Chiron archetype, this is the wounded healer teacher archetype. After we go through this process, we do become like a guiding light and, an example for others who are going down this same path. But that's what it is. It's wisdom through lived experience. It's teaching through example. It is not it's not doing the process for anybody else. This is a process that we can only do for ourselves. But once it's done, it totally changes our experience of life and reality. And this is another aspect of what is being triggered and activated in this energy by Venus ruling the position of Uranus right now, and in a conjunction with the moon as well. The moon is a very powerful planet, trigger planet for things that are happening, forming the trine to Chiron while Uranus is going retrograde in these fire signs as well. This is all about this heart healing. This is all about this inner child healing. This is all about rediscovering what it truly is that makes us feel alive, and coming to a point where we have the self-understanding, the self-awareness, and the self-control to be able to use our mind also with this Mars and Gemini energy in a way that brings us the experiences that we want into our lives, instead of unconsciously creating, again, these patterns and these cyclical experiences that we don't necessarily want, in order for universe trying to constantly bring them to our awareness. So this retrograde cycle also facilitating our collective hero's journey and bridging us into self-mastery over this next 8 months. Eight of Cups, Eight of Pentacles, the solitary healing journey, the hero's journey that is bringing us to this ultimate state of self-mastery. Eight is also numerologically, I can't talk today. Eight is also numerologically associated with the sign of Scorpio, Pluto, these death and rebirth vibes, and the 19 degrees, we're talking about a 1. This is also endings and beginnings. So this next 5 to 8 month period of time, you guys, that really is what we are looking at. And Chiron right now in the sign of Aries, we are becoming the pioneer of our own personal transformation in this process. This is a self-motivated individual process, and we are doing it for ourselves. It is indicating this transit, this retrograde in the square to Venus and the moon, indicating a bumpy road in terms of love, money, and emotions, but it is waking us up to our heart and soul's true needs, capabilities, and potential. So honestly, this is a really beautiful period of time. This is a really, in the long run, end of the day, this is a very positive activation that we have going on right now, ultimately liberating and self-empowering, but it may create conflict, chaos, sudden, shocking, unexpected things if we are especially denying or avoiding any aspect of our personal truth, our personal potential, or not doing what we know we are supposed to be doing. That's what Uranus does. Uranus comes in and plays the wrecking ball role when we are not making the changes for ourselves. When we, for one reason or another, cannot get ourselves back on track or do what really needs to be done, that's when Uranus comes in and does it for us. And it may be brutal, absolutely brutal. But in the end, looking back, we will, say one of the best things that ever happened. Would I want to go through it again? Heck no, but one of the best things that ever happened in retrospect, looking back, because it brought me here. That's what we are dealing with in this energy. We are very protected during this time, though. And that's another thing that I want to tell you guys right off the bat in terms of this Uranus retrograde energy. The sun is actually today at 3 degrees of Virgo. That Sabian symbol is 2 guardian angels bringing protection. And actually, it's interesting, when I initially wrote this degree out this morning, when I was taking my notes for this report, I wrote 2 guardian angels bringing perfection by accident. And then when I was reading back over it, I realized it was supposed to be protection. So things are being put right. Like, we don't see it right now, you guys, but this is a part of a process that is actually like putting things together in perhaps like a more perfect way than we could ever imagine, visualize, understand, conceptualize. But we are in a period of protection. And this is talking about 2 guardian angels. Like, we don't just have one angel that has our back during this period of time, guys. We have 2. So no worries, no fear. There's an aspect of the energy today that is talking about the remnants of our past selves and our past lives. It may seem like they are being shattered and scattered at this point in time, even though we do have these angels watching over us. The earth today is at 3 degrees of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is petrified tree trunks lay broken on desert sand. Petrified wood, petrified forest, petrified anything. This is something that has been frozen in place. Like, this is something that to me is talking about the attachments to the past, the programming from the past, where we've been like cemented into certain habits and patterns that have been holding us back. I feel like, what does it say? Broken and laying on the desert sand. I feel like this is talking about anywhere that we've been petrified or held in place or stuck in place or just like frozen in our like past whatever. I feel like this is also, talking about this dynamic change, a period of time where this is being shattered and scattered, and we are sort of having to move through the remnants of our past selves and out of our old life, but we are being protected. We also need to stay very focused on our process of personal growth and healing and self-discovery over this period of time as we are cultivating our potential. Mercury, 30 degrees of Virgo today, the last degree of his sign of Virgo. That Sabian symbol is having a task to complete. A man doesn't look to any distractions. This is indicating that, this is a focused energy. Like, this process of self-discovery, self-healing, gaining this self-awareness and tapping into this potential, this creative process that is trying to come to us, is something that is likely to be a very dominant focus of our experience over the course of this next 8-month period of time. And it could also feel quite experimental, experimenting with options and possibilities for who we could become and what we could create as we tap into this. We are sort of, we are rediscovering ourselves, and we're sort of playing around with the potential and the possibility of what that could be. Venus, 18 degrees of Leo today in the square. Uranus is at 19 degrees. North Node is at 17 degrees. That Sabian symbol is a chemist conducts an experiment for his students. And this is a very, very Uranian degree. Uranus would definitely rule chemistry. And this is talking about an experiment. Like, we are being given an opportunity. There's going to be once we go through this process, there's going to be a lot of options. There's going to be so much potential. There's going to be so many opportunities that are going to open themselves up for us. And, we are going to have the opportunity to experiment with our own selves and, what we like and what we can create and what we want to do and try different things and see what works and see what doesn't. But it's this process of experimentation and refining down until we can get to the actual formula of what it is that makes our particular, what would we call it? Like our particular, motherboard come online in the best possible way, like our own particular code, like really activate. And then what else in terms of Sabian symbols? And again, this is happening as a result of a reawakening to our gifts and being prepared to unwrap and play with them over this period of time as well. We have Mars at 4 degrees of Gemini today. Holly and mistletoe reawaken old memories of Christmas. Mars, our action, our energy. In the sign of Gemini, this is thoughts, ideas, information, our viewpoint, our perspective, reawakening us to our gifts, reawakening old memories of Christmas, reawakening us to our gifts and preparing us to unwrap and to play with our presence that we hold inside with all this Leo energy going on as well. So the Sabian symbols alongside the energy that we have playing out today for Uranus's retro in square to Venus and the moon, they are talking about us being protected, us going through this moving away from the past. Remember, the South Node is in opposition. And the South Node right now is at 17 degrees of Scorpio. A woman filled with her own spirit is the father of her own child. We are moving away from anywhere that we have felt we needed to like bend the knee, or where we need to surrender to external power sources in order to be able to create, in order to we don't need anything outside of us anymore, you guys, in order to create from within. That is to me what this is saying, to create, whatever we can conceive of, essentially. That is what we are moving away from with this South Node at this degree. Any type of understanding or attachment to an emotion or an idea that we don't have what we need within us in order to create the life that we want for ourselves. The North Node right now as well is at 17 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is the symbolic battle between swords, the disciples of might, and torches, the disciples of enlightenment. And this again, to me, is talking about, and with this Mars energy, Mars retrograding in Gemini as well, these polarities going on, these polarities within us, this battle versus our lower and our higher self within us, like our this new conscious awareness that we are birthing and gaining and awakening to right now, up against like our ego and like our attachments and like the ego gratification needs and stuff that we have coming to this head, perhaps creating this personal conflict. But we are on a path towards enlightenment, you guys. Uranus there, the great awakener, Venus and the moon in the sign of Leo, the light. Like, this is a path towards enlightenment, and we are conquering the battle within us. We are conquering our ego. Chiron there as well. This is that internal alchemization. This is transcending out of those states of victimhood that are more aligned with and attached to like our instinct, ego-based urges and ways of operating, subconscious ways of operating, behaving and stuff. That is what we are graduating from. So the torches of enlightenment is the direction that we are going in, but it may be bringing up this internalized conflict, this internalized battle over this period of time too. And also, like I said, we are still in Sun square Mars energy. With all this activity happening this past couple days, all this emphasis on Uranus, I have not mentioned it, nearly probably as much as I should, considering what a big square this is in the sky, the sun in Virgo up against Mars and Gemini. But this is also bringing some intense energy that is wrapped up again in this like perhaps like internalized mental conflict between like our ego and our conscious awareness that may be coming through, and it can really be creating a lot of conflicts in our external reality as well as we are going through these awakenings. And Mars and Gemini, people have a tendency to be very overly attached to their ideas on an ego level, so as a result of that, it can create some really strong like clashes of wills and just ego battles going on, and people vying for power and vying to be the one who like says what's happening and says what's going on and taking the leadership role. And just some interpersonal issues could be playing out this week. And we're talking about people likely to have a very short temper, being very hot-headed, some frustration, like traffic jams could also be a thing. It's just generally like a more irritating energy when we have the sun in square to Mars in any signs, but especially in these both Mercury-oriented signs. I mean, it is also going somewhere positive. Squares are about coming to a resolution and ultimately solving some type of problem. But again, I feel like it's like this inner conflict going on within us. And this is also energy that is very, very distracting. And that may be really just like getting under our skin or causing some frustration in this energy as well. Very distracting energy. Because on one hand, we have the sun in Virgo. This wants to focus, this wants to concentrate, this wants to make lists and plans and be productive and, read the fine print and pay attention to the detail and just be like very quiet and refined in our study, getting our work done and not being like disrupted and stuff like that. But then we have Mars and Gemini. This is like the king of disruption, okay? This is like a very, very active, noisy, busy, interfering energy. And this is like I think about it and I'm like, this is like us wanting to put on some like classical music and go balance our checkbook in our office. But then like our children are just like, rah, 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 like being super crazy, super chaotic, super fighting and stuff. There could also be like a lot of children fighting and stuff in this siblings and stuff like that, spats going on in this Mars Gemini energy, but definitely like the Mars and Gemini energy disrupting our ability to Virgo, like disrupting our ability to like do the Virgo thing, to sort of be quiet and introspective and have some like mental like groundedness and focus and concentration and stuff. Mars and Gemini is like, nope, we're not doing that. We're actually going to go over here and be extremely loud and extremely like confrontational and chaotic. So I hope you don't have a problem with that. And if you do have a problem with that, that's really your problem, because I don't have a problem with that. Like that's sort of the thing, like really trying to get some things done, like really wanting to be productive, like really wanting to focus on our work or what we've like our plans or like what we're like trying to accomplish or whatever, but just these distractions that are requiring and consuming our energy going on. So that may also be something that you're sort of dealing with, feeling in this energy. But that's what I have to say today, you guys. Sorry, it's been kind of a long report. Let's get into the tarot cards and not try to wrap this up, because this is becoming quite a long one. In terms of the tarot message we had coming out today, you guys, the first card that we had coming out of the deck is the Page of Wands. This is about a new inspiration. This is about discovering that spark within us and, pondering. Look at this guy's really staring up at this staff here, this wand here. He's like, look at this. This looks like it's got a lot of potential. Let me see all the things I could think of doing with this wand. Like that is sort of the vibe that we are moving towards as we get into this Uranus retrograde energy. And then we have the Seven of Wands. This is about us like being determined about something. So what are we being determined about? We're being determined about being done with something, being very done with something, not wanting to communicate, not needing to talk about it. But look, you guys, then we got the Eight of Cups coming out because we're going on this healing journey. You see this? This is what I was talking about. This guy, he's got all these cups standing up behind him, but they're not fulfilling to him anymore. They're there like, but they're just not doing it. Like he needs more. Like he needs to figure out why these 8 cups are not making him happy, because they should be. Look at them glowing golden and standing there just waiting. But he's like, they're not making me happy. I feel like I'm missing something and I don't know what I need in order to fill that hole. I need to go on this healing journey of self-discovery and figure it out. And it's interesting also because there's another 8. We had the 8 of Wands in reverse. And then on the back, or then we had the 7 of Cups coming out. This is also walking away from delusion. And what are we walking away from delusion about? 10 of Cups in reverse on the back of the deck. Delusion about what we truly can have. Like, it's like we didn't believe that we deserved what it is that the divine truly has planned for us. And universe is not having that anymore as well. You see, that's like the other aspect, the other side of this. It's like, if we don't wake, it's like universe is trying to really help us out and give us that gift, because it's like if we don't wake up to the truth of our potential, then we don't ever experience the level of fulfillment and abundance that the divine has had planned for us. So it's like, yeah, we may be going through all of these things and have to sacrificing a lot and feeling like, you know, the weight of the world is on our shoulders and everything is just crumbling down around us, but it's actually so that universe can give us a gift of having everything that we've ever wished for and desired, and this true sense of fulfillment in a way that is really feeding our heart and soul, that we may have never understood that we even needed, or that we maybe never felt that we deserved. We are learning in this process that we do deserve it, that we can have it, and universe is trying to put us in a place where we can actually receive that. And that's what, and then we have the Hermit coming through after that, this period of isolation and introspection. So that this is what this is saying to me, that this energy that's coming through right now, this period of time that's coming through, is going to be reinvigorating the spark within us and creating this window of potential, of awareness of, you know, maybe I do have a new opportunity. Maybe I can recreate myself. Maybe this is not all that my life was ever supposed to be. Maybe like lost opportunities are coming back to me and I can recreate a whole new world for myself that I thought was never possible, or I never could achieve or deserve, or was lost forever. Maybe I'm not going to settle for the 10 of Swords anymore. That's what this is talking about. Coming up with this, like getting hit sort of by this awakening, this Uranus energy, this awakening to the truth of our talent and potential and the resources and what our life could look like maybe if we go in that direction, and sort of being determined to move away from something. Like this is the ending. This is the 10 of Swords. Like, and it's the swords, it's the ideas. It's like we are moving away from mindsets that have kept us from moving forward. I mean, this is the 8 of Wands. This is about like fast movement forward, like fast, high speed trajectory somewhere. In the 8 of Wands, this is also passionate energy, following our passions, following our joy, following our inspiration. We're in reverse, like we haven't been doing that. Like this is the end of that, and we are very much so determined to move beyond that period in our lives based on this perhaps awakening or inspiration that is coming through. And then with the next cards coming out, it's triggering this 8 of Cups. It's triggering this hero's journey. It's triggering this journey of self-discovery, this healing journey that may be happening over this next 8-month period of time that is taking us out of delusion or confusion. The 7 of Cups in reverse, helping us to gain some clarity in terms of what we really deserve and why the state of our emotional fulfillment is not making us happy at this point in time. This energy right here, the 7 of Cups in reverse and the 10 of Cups in reverse, is explaining why this guy is walking away, why he can't be happy with the 8 cups that are sitting there, why no matter, you know, how many cups he seems to have, it's still not fulfilling him. It's still not making him happy. It's because what we are going to learn over this period of time is really going to clear up and take us out of any illusion in terms of what it is we really need in order to experience that sense of soul fulfillment, soul purpose. And then the Hermit under that, again, talking about this need to be all this retrograde energy, this need to be more internalized, self-awareness. We're also heading towards Virgo season as well, which is which rules the Hermit energy. This is a period of time where we really need to sort of just get in touch with our own personal truth and not be distracted, right? That degree of Mercury, having a task to complete. A man doesn't look to any distractions. Mercury in the sign of Virgo, ruling the Hermit energy, the Hermit coming out last. Like this is a period of time where we really just need to be more internalized as we are going through this shift and learning so much about ourselves that is really setting us free in a lot of ways to come back to life and create and attract, magnetize the life that we, you know, may have thought was lost to us forever, but that was always in divine mind and alignment for us if we could only activate our potential. And that's what we're doing now. So that's the tarot message, you guys. Let's get a synchronicity card now. One more card. God, Spirit, Universe. What piece of advice do we need? There we go. We have one flying out of the deck. It says, bless them and walk on. Which kind of goes along with everything that we're talking about right now as well. The words of a talebearer are as wounds as they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Proverbs 26:22. You can see through the darkness of another's mind. You are not responsible for their negative thinking, and you cannot change their mind. Do not get involved, bless them, and walk on. And honestly, with this sun squaring Mars in Mercury signs energy today alongside this Uranus retrograde, this is probably very, very good advice, and this is what we need to keep in mind today, and actually perhaps over this entire period of time. This is something that might be able to benefit us. So that is what I have to say today, you guys. Message from the stars, message from the cards. I hope you guys liked it. I hope that I was able to provide something for you that can clear things up for you or give you a little bit of whatever you're needing as you are navigating this period of time today over this next couple months. If you guys did like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would like this type of astrology content too. Leave me comments, you guys. I absolutely love your comments. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate your feedback. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We have a huge day of astrology going on tomorrow. Tomorrow is the exact square between Mars and the Sun in Gemini and Virgo, and Venus is going to be an exact square with Uranus tomorrow as well. So bang bang, lots of astrology to talk about. I'll be here. You should be here too. You guys don't want to miss this one, and I will see you then. Have a beautiful day, everybody, and until tomorrow. Bye, guys.